got a chance to see episode 4 of the Skeleton Crew from Star Wars. That's Disney Star Wars, of course. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I'm going to... If you're a Star Wars fan, I'm going to a studio tomorrow where he builds his own stuff. He's got a full working Bosk costume, moving mouth and everything. I'm looking forward to seeing his setup tomorrow. I love creature stuff and creature effects and stuff like that. So I'm gonna definitely pick some brains when I go to his studio tomorrow. And I was gonna go see Homestead on Friday, but everybody's saying how good Sonic is, and I'm like, oh, should I go see Sonic? I like the other ones, but I haven't got to a theater to see any of them. But maybe. We'll see. Keanu Reeves playing the bad guy? Maybe. All right, so before we jump into it, feel free to jump ahead if you've seen this a million times. However, I have some new covers this time. I find the two covers, I have one more cover, but it's a nude cover. So these are really what I have left here for Lords of L.A. So this is my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. And here's the other two covers for issue 2 that I now have. If you want one, let me know. I am signing them. But this is the other Helene cover with the Werepanther on it. Really, really good work here. And this is the other cover, which is a Marilyn Monroe. And you can see the Nosferatu in the back here. Especially with the Nosferatu coming out this Christmas. And then you've seen the other ones if you've been watching my channel. We have the Samurai cover, the other Helene cover, and then the main Katana cover. And then this is issue 1, and you can see, but it's again, vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. So it's kind of a mix between The Godfather meets True Blood, I guess. It's a revenge story. And it's got some twists and turns in it, and really some bloody action and stuff like that. So again, if you'd like a copy, let me know. Plus, we have the new 50th anniversary of The Green Hornet, written by Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, as well as Kevin J. Anderson, who did Dune. He also has done some Star Wars. Brandon Easton, who wrote for Marvel with the Agent Carter series. He's also done Superman Black and White. The cover, Black, White, and Red, I think it was. Maybe it's Blue, White, and Red. It's one of the colors. And we also have the cover done by Matt Wagner, who's done Batman and Grendel. But anyway, we're going to be launching in January. So go to greenhornetnoir.com, and you'll see the page where you can get notified about when we release in January. There's also a link in the description below. All right, thanks a lot, guys, if you can do that for me. But let's jump into the new episode of The Skeleton Crew. So I really like the tone of this series. I think it's lots of fun. I like the characters a great deal. They always feel like they're in over their head. And even the girl boss situation with Fern, it's very obvious that she's putting on an act because she's always scared. She's always scared, but she acts tough. And I think that's different than a girl boss because she really doesn't do everything. Like, to me, a girl boss means that they've never been trained to do anything, but they do everything perfectly. That's for me what a girl boss is. And I do not get that impression out of Fern. I just think she just tries she's a little bit of a control freak. She tries to take control, and sometimes it kind of blows up in her face, especially in this episode. Although I think this is a very Neil-centric episode, and there's 5 other planets. If you haven't seen the episode, I'm not going to do much spoilers, but little things here and there. But anyway, there was obviously some 5 other planets that were made exactly the same. They were cookie cutter planets. And obviously some of the other planets didn't survive. And Adam was the only one, I guess, thrived. We haven't seen the other ones yet. But Adam especially is special because the coordinates were destroyed by the previous captain. I don't even know the name of the ship. Do you guys know the name of the ship that they're on? If you know the name of the ship, let me know, because it's not ringing a bell with me. The one that SM-33 is piloting. I really like SM-33. I think Nick is doing a really good job there, Nick Frost. I think the whole cast does a really good job. And it was neat to see Fern and Wynn have a little heart-to-heart about, you should have been captain, which is a way for her to say, look, I'm in over my head. And he's like, no, we would not have gotten this far without you. And I appreciated all of that. I think that Jude Law's character is starting, well, obviously has become a father figure, even in his own mind, because instead of bolting, which he could have done to a certain extent just by fighting the robot, obviously he knew where the robot's off switch was this entire time. But he didn't, and he negotiated for them rather than money. Then you also have a guest star of Halla Finley, who was just she played Echo in the last Venom movie. Have a pretty small role here, but, people are going to take these kind of roles just because it's a Star Wars. But I think her character was very good. She was kind of the leader of this fighter group on this other planet, which is made up majority of children. But the name of Jude Law's character is Jod, Jod. But this was directed by Daniel Kwan and two Daniels, Scheinert. And if you don't know who they are, it's because they've only really done one movie. But they're co-directors, and they both directed everything all at once. So they are Oscar winning with the one and only movie that they did. But I thought they brought out the heart of this, because the script on this is a little disappointing because it moved the story too far, I think. And from what I'm gleaning from how they're doing this is that they're going to keep them away from Adam for as long as they possibly can. The story is about them trying to get home, so it's more Voyager than it is them actually getting home. So this may be the whole story of the season, is them trying to get home. So if you think they're actually going to get home by the end, they're probably not. Even by the 8th episode, the end of the season, chances are they're not going to have them go home, which is going to make it feel, at least with Voyager, they end up having their own missions, even though they weren't, part of the Federation at that point, because if they were, many, many light years away from where the Federation had any kind of envelopment, or, where their whole borders were. Where here, their whole mission was to get home. That's the only thing they have going on. So if the writers aren't able to give these kids another mission, this is going to feel very, very drawn out. So they're going to need to get, and the fact that they're children, it gives it the heart that it has, but it's also very limited about what can be done. It's not like they can be recruited into an army, or they're going to, haphazardly get into another battle or help someone to, fend off invaders. They're not going to be able to do any of that. Stuff that had to do with Voyager, where they were investigating new planets and things like that. There's none of that here, because their only thing is to go home, especially now where Neil almost has done a mandate where they're, want to be peaceful. So if that's the case, they're not going to be getting into any battles. The only adventures they're going to have is the inadvertent ones, nothing on purpose, which is, again, we're going to make this series be very, very drawn out. We have 4 episodes, and we know now that they're not going to get home in the next 4 episodes. So I don't know. I think this is going to get real old real fast if that's the case. If the writers can't figure out something else for these kids to do, and of course we know that their parents are, feeling lost about how they're going to get them back. So they have to figure out a way for the parents to be involved to get off the planet and try to find them. That would be the only thing that I can see happen, is that the parents are going to have to, find them. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. It'd be very interesting. And again, I really like the camaraderie. I like the chemistry between the characters. I like that the characters are pretty much all different. I like the fact that Jude is now part of the group. He's no longer like a prisoner. But I'm disappointed with the fact that their whole deal is to be lost in space. So we've already seen that. That's nothing new. So keeping my fingers crossed about what we're going to do from this point. But again, I liked a lot of elements here, and the message behind this episode I thought was very good. I know that Drunk 3PO was bored with it. I wasn't bored with this. I didn't think it was boring. Again, I liked the message, and I liked everything about it. And I like the feel of the show. But again, I hope it doesn't get monotonous, where it's the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, we didn't get the information we wanted and stuff like that. So let's see what happens. All right, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let's see if I go see Sonic on Friday. If I gotta do that, I guess I gotta get my ticket, because chances are it's just gonna be sold out. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Happy holidays to everyone. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can subscribe, please do if you haven't already. And if you haven't, why not? And remember to go to greenhornetnoir.com and get notified. Sign up to get notifications about when we launch in January. All right, it's going to be lots of great stuff in there. All right, talk to you soon, and bye-bye.